Hi, this is Tamara at mooglyblog.com, and in this video I'm going to be demonstrating the stitch pattern for the Greyson Baby Blanket, which is a free pattern you'll find on mooglyblog.com. For the full pattern with all the stitch counts and links to the other tutorials for different parts of this blanket, please do go to mooglyblog.com. There is a link in the video description below. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to be using Lion Brand's Vanna's Choice and a Furls K-hook to make this pattern. Let me set that aside, and I'm going to pull up the first row. Now obviously this is not the full-size blanket. This blanket calls for a multiple of 8 plus 1, and if you prefer to use a turning chain, then you would need one more chain for the turning chain. I like to start with foundation half double crochet. If you don't know how to do foundation stitches, there will be a link to that tutorial in this tutorial. Again, look in the description for links. So here I have a multiple of 8, so 16 plus one more, 17 stitches to work with. After you've made your first row, whether that's chain and half double crochet or a row of foundation half double crochet, you're going to go ahead and cut the yarn. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish that one off, like so. Then, even though we've broken the yarn, we're going to go ahead and turn, coming back the other way, and at this point I'm going to pick up my second color. Now, I did this in different shades of gray and white, but obviously you can use whatever colors you like. So in my second color, I am going to join to the first stitch with a single crochet. To do that, I start with a slip knot in the second color, already on my hook. Then I'm going to hold the non-working end out of the way. I'm going to insert my hook in that first stitch, like so, and just yarn over and make a single crochet just as I normally would. But I don't have to chain first this way. This is joining with a single crochet, also known as a standing single crochet. So that is our first single crochet of row 2. Then I'm going to half double crochet in the next stitch, like so, and then double crochet in the next stitch, treble crochet in the following stitch. There's 2 and 3. All right. Then I'm going to work 3 treble crochets right in the next stitch. Right there. You'll note these are US terms. So when I make a treble crochet, I yarn over twice before I begin. So this is the second one, worked into that same stitch there. And then our third one. If you don't know how to make these individual stitches, again, please go to mooglyblog.com. There are tutorials for all these individual stitches on the blog and on the YouTube channel if you want to go through the YouTube channel. So there's our 3 treble crochets in the same stitch. So then we work our way down. We do a treble crochet in the next stitch, followed by a double crochet. Oops, getting a little folded up there. We'll yarn over, double crochet in the next. Feel free to pause if you need to, like so. Then half double crochet in the next stitch. And that, you can see we've made, or we've worked into, I should say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because remember those 3 are all in the same one, 6, 7, 8. So that's our first repeat. So we're going to work those 8 stitches again, beginning with a single crochet, then a half double crochet, then a double crochet. We're just working our way right up the height of the stitches, aren't we? Then a treble crochet, like so. 3 treble crochets in the next stitch. 1, yarn over twice for 2, like so. Oh, finally need to, dropping my hook, I need to pull up a little bit more yarn here. There we are. So remember we had just made 2 treble crochets in the same stitch, so we're going to go back for a third, like so. Now we've got our 3 in that stitch, so it's time to work our way back down the hill here. We'll do a treble in the next, followed by a double crochet after that, a half double crochet in the stitch after that, And as you remember, that's our repeat again. So we're just going to finish off with a single crochet in that last stitch right there. Now you can see this created sort of two little hills. And of course, if we were making a full-size blanket, we'd have a whole big row of those all the way across. After you've finished row 2, we're going to break the yarn again. So let me grab my scissors. Here they are. And I'm going to go ahead and cut the yarn there. All right. And then I will finish that one off. I'm just going to pull that through the last loop there to finish it off. And I will weave in all those ends, of course, when it's done. But first, time for row 3. I'm going to turn again to work back the other way. And I'll pull up my white yarn. Again, you can use whatever colors you want when making this pattern. So for row 3, I'm going to join this one with a double crochet. Now again, if you want a closer look at how to do this, there's standing double crochet video tutorial on YouTube, on the Moogly blog channel, or on the blog. But I'm going to show you relatively quickly right here. I'm going to hold the non-working end, or the cut end, if you will, in my hand. I'm going to yarn over twice, all right on the hook. Then I'm going to insert my hook in the first stitch, right where I want to go ahead and make that first stitch of the row. And I'm just going to pull up a loop and make a double crochet. Now I don't want to let go of that end in my hand yet, because that's part of this stitch sort of holding it in place. Once I make the next stitch, this one will be okay. So let's go ahead and get to it. The next stitch of row 3, after we've made a double crochet in the first stitch, we skip the next stitch, then we double crochet in the next 3 stitches. So I'm going to yarn over. Remember, we skip the next one, go into the next one, and make my double crochet. After I've done that, then this one end will be secure and I can let that go. So remember, I said double crochet in the next 3, so that's 2, and that's 3 right there, like so. I'll hold it in front of my hands, it's a little easier to see. Then I work 3 double crochets in the next stitch, and that one should be the center of those 3 trebles that you just made. So right in the center one of those, you work 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. There we are. So you can see those 3 double crochets worked in the center the center treble crochet of the previous row, and then we just work our way back down. 3 double crochets in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. All right, there we are. So we've gone up over the hill, and now it's time to take care of that valley. So what we're going to do is work a double crochet 3 together. I'll start with my yarn over, and then I'm going to start a double crochet in the next 3 stitches. I pull up a loop, pull through 2, stop with 2 loops left on the hook, yarn over again, go to the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, with 3 loops left on the hook, I'll yarn over one more time, go in the next stitch, pull up my loop, yarn over and pull through 2, and then with 4 loops left on the hook, I will yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. And that's my double crochet 3 together. It's a double crochet 3 decrease. So then it's time to work my way back up the hill. We work 3 double crochets, 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches, I should say. So double crochet in the next 3 stitches, which should bring us right back to that center treble right there. Remember, that's where we work our 3 double crochets at the top of our hill. Basically, by putting multiple stitches here, that allows us to create that gentle curve rather than pulling on the stitches themselves as you go back down. So from here, we know we double crochet in the next 3 stitches just to maintain our repeat. And then we would just keep doing that. At this point, if we were going to keep going, full-size blanket, we'd have another double crochet 3 together decrease. But we don't. We've come to the end. We've got 2 stitches left in the previous row, right there, 1 and 2. You can see the tops of the V's there. So I'm going to skip the next one and double crochet in the last one. Because remember, we always want to mirror. When we're working a blanket, generally speaking, we're going to mirror what we do at one end on the other. So that, I know it's a little hard to see the white, it'll be easier once I work the next row. That is the end of row 3. So I am going to go ahead and cut the yarn again and finish that off, and then we will go back to color B. Oops, there we go. But I'm going to turn first and pick up that color B. That's that color we used most recently right there. Not the darkest color, but the medium color. To make row 4, I'm going to join this one with a treble, and I don't think I have a specific, I'm trying to remember, I might have a specific video tutorial for this, so again, you'll have to check the links. But let me show you, it's pretty much the same way as joining with a double crochet, but instead of yarning over twice, we're going to yarn over 3 times. Then we go right into that first stitch again, like so, pull up a loop, and I pull through 2 loops 3 times, just like a regular treble. You can see I use my non-hook hand to kind of choke up on the stitch as I go. That helps keep the loops even, keeps the tension even across the stitch. Then I want to keep holding on to that end while I go to the next stitch again. So I am going to skip the next stitch and treble crochet in the stitch after that, very similar to the last row, like so. Then I am going to start getting shorter. Remember, last time we used this, we kept getting taller. This time, we're going to keep getting shorter. So I'll use a double crochet in the next one, and then a half double crochet in the next one. Pull it all the way through there, and then a single crochet in the next stitch. And if you look, you'll see this is the center one of those 3. Remember, we had 3 trebles all together. Then in the center one, we worked our 3 doubles. In the center of these is where your single crochet should land, because it's the shortest one. You can see what we're doing is we're getting our chevron pattern by changing the heights of the stitches here. So once we've got our single crochet, we start working our way back up, followed by half double crochet, then a double crochet, then a treble in the next one. I'm getting tall again. And then here we've got the stitch before, the decrease, and the stitch after. These 3 stitches right here are going to get another decrease. Remember, these started out as 3, but they only have 1 top, so that all counts as 1 stitch. So I'm going to yarn over twice, just like for a regular treble. Go into the first one, pull up my loop, put a yarn over, and pull through 2 twice. So once I've got 2 loops left on the hook, I'll yarn over twice again, go into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through 2 twice, stop when I've got 3 loops left on the hook, yarn over twice again. This can start to be a lot of loops on your hook, so don't be afraid to push them up if you need to. So I've yarned over twice, I'll go into the third one, pull through 2 twice, then with 4 loops on the hook, just as before, yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. And that's my treble crochet 3 together, or treble 3 together. So that all counts as 1 stitch. So from there, time to hike back up that hill. So we're going to do a treble in the next stitch, like so, double crochet in the one after that, half double. Remember, we keep getting shorter as we go up the hill here for this row, single in the center one of those 3, and then back down. We've got half double, followed by a double, followed by a treble. There we are. And then we're going to, because we've come to the end, remember if we were on a long blanket after our treble, we'd have a decrease. But we've come to the end of the row, so we've got 2 stitches left. I'm going to skip the next one and put a treble in the last one. Now, because this was a standing stitch, the second half of the V, if you look at the top, when you've got a stitch, you've got that V that's made with the 2 loops. Half of this V is loose. So I want to make sure when I make this stitch to go under that one as well as that loop there and catch them both in the stitch. And when I weave in this end, that will all tighten up very nicely. So I will finish up row 4 with my treble crochet there. And you can see, it's a little easier to see now, that our chevron pattern is becoming established. So, like every row, I will now break the yarn. I prefer to use scissors, not that strong. Then I'll yarn over and finish that one off and turn to come back the other way. Now, row 5, crazy easy. That's our darkest color. So for this row, you can join with half double crochet. And you'll notice the taller stitches, double crochet and treble crochet. I joined those stitches without putting a slip knot on the hook first. I find with the single and the half double crochet, it's just so much easier to start with that slip knot on your hook. So I'm going to yarn over just once because this is a half double crochet. I'm going to go in the first stitch. And you'll notice in this video, I've been pulling these ends out of the way. If I were actually making this blanket, which of course is far too small to be, but if I were making and going to continue on this, what I'd actually do is catch this end inside this stitch and maybe crochet over it for a few stitches. I would still want to weave it in. I'm not going to finish that stitch because I do want to focus on that, but I would still weave this end in when it was all said and done, but for the few stitches, I would crochet over it just to help keep it out of the way. And that gives you a little start because this pattern does have a lot of ends. So let's get back to that standing half double crochet. Kind of put myself on a tangent there. I'm going to hold the unattached end again in my fingers, slip knot on the hook, yarn over once because this is a half double crochet, go in the first stitch, pull up my loop, and then for this I like to kind of finagle a little bit, scooch all those loops down next to each other before I yarn over. And sometimes I'll even use my other hand to hold that knot at the bottom of the hook and then pull through all those loops like so, like so. All right, let's do that one more time, just because I know that one's a little tough. My swatch is getting away from me here. I'm going to start with a slip knot on the hook. Oops. There we go. Then I am going to yarn over, insert in the indicated stitch, pull up a loop, and then pull through all 3 of those loops that were on the hook. And that's joining with a half double crochet. If you prefer, you can just do the usual thing, join with a slip stitch, chain 1, and put your half double crochet in there. From there, we just half double crochet right on across, and that's easy enough. That's row 5. From there, it's just a repeat. Row 5 here, this one, is essentially the same as row 1, a row of half double crochet, and then you just repeat rows 2, 3, 4, and 5 until you've finished the blanket. And from there, you'll work the border. The border, however, is very simple, at least for this pattern, the way I've written it. It's just single crocheting all the way around, and then a couple more rounds of back loop single crochet. Single crocheting in the back loop only. And that's a tutorial, if you're not familiar with back loop only and front loop only, that is also linked in this pattern. So again, please do check the links in the description. I know there was a lot of information in this one. It's a relatively easy pattern once you've got all the rows down, but you can find all the information you need in those links below. So as you can see, I'm just half double crocheting on across this row. And then when I get to the end of this one, I would cut this yarn again, and then I would begin with another repeat of row 2. But that is the basics of the Greyson Baby Blanket. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it helps you make the blanket. Please do go get the full pattern from mooglyblog.com. And thank you so much for watching.